after our show.
That is Denny Carter doing what Denny Carter does.
Yes.
Sitting in his underwear and his father's sweater.
Yeah. Well, Matthew, if you want more
of that.
More rock-solid waiver wire advice from a man dressed in a robe. I don't think I own a robe. After that, I might need to reassess.
He is our generation's Hef. There's no question about that. Yeah.
If you want to see that man yelling at his imaginary interns, which live somewhere inside his sick mind.
I actually, weirdly, I mean, I'm probably not supposed to sort of go behind the scenes here, but I'll pull back the curtain a little bit. He does have one intern. It's Roto Pat.
Oh, yeah. Right. Oh,
that's who he's actually talking to right
Roto
there.
Pat. Poor Roto
Anyway,
Pat.
cat's out of the bag there. Anyway, right after this show, live at 1 o'clock Eastern on the NFL on NBC YouTube channel, our very own Denny Carter
will be taking your questions.
Takes your question, the Q&A. It's always fun. We love Denny. Friend of the podcast, Denny Carter.
Absolutely.
He does a great job there.
Does a great job.
As well. And I like that he took shots at ESPN. Shots fired.
In a robe,
in a robe. It's outrageous.
Always.
At least he wasn't shirtless.
That's true. Yeah.
That's fair. That is another network.
To go with the robe. All right, let's go into waiver wide receivers. Let's start with Mecole Hardman, who's been cooking with a little bit of gas lately. He's been Patrick Mahomes' favorite target in the red zone.
4 straight games now with double-digit fantasy points. He's had a double-digit target share in all 4 games, Jay. And last week, 4 red zone targets, right? And so, they find more and more ways to try to get him the ball in creative spaces. Like, we all got so excited about Kadarius Toney, right? The possibilities with Kadarius Toney, but they've actually been doing what you think they're going to do with Kadarius Toney. They've actually been doing it with Mecole Hardman, who over the last 4 games is playing, as you see it there on your screen, 50% of the offensive snaps. Look, he's top 5 in the NFL in terms of red zone targets over the last 4 weeks, since week 5 actually. And so, Mecole Hardman, suddenly it has taken a while for us to get here, but if you're telling me I can get a player that's going to play 50% of the offensive snaps with Patrick Mahomes, I want in.
Yep, Patrick Mahomes, clear favorite on BetMGM to lead the league in passing yards. There's a lot of yards out there to go around, and right now he's supporting Kelsey's obviously relevant. Juju has turned the corner in a big way and kind of was the hub of that offense against the Titans. Yeah. And then Mecole Hardman as well. And then, what's left for Kadarius Toney? Let's jump to Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Or Sky Moore, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who seems to have sort of fallen off, by the way.
Giving up on
they play the Jaguars this week, by the way.
Yeah.
They play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Your Swagwars.
Yeah.
You love your Swagwars.
I do. All right, let's talk DPJ. Donovan Peoples-Jones plays at Miami. What's a relatively favorable matchup against Miami's secondary that has struggled?
Everyone has to throw against Miami because they're so good on offense that you get down. And so Jacoby Brissett, who I think has been impressive, better than expected.
He's been very solid.
He's been very solid, right? He's been fine. He's been, like the Colts would beg for Jacoby Brissett back right now.
He's like Jacoby Brissett is Case Keenum living in a mansion.
Yeah.
A real rich man's, a rich man's super professional quarterback.
I'm joking, but seriously, Jacoby Brissett was with the Colts for a number of years, and they would kill to have him back.
You know what he is? He's Case Keenum wearing a robe, a golden robe. That's what Jacoby Brissett is.
I tell you right now, he'd be the best quarterback on the Colts at the moment.
No doubt.
The fact of the matter is that he's getting the ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones as it relates to our needs at the moment here. Since week 4, DPJ has had a 20% target share on a Browns offense that I think is throwing more than people expected. DPJ has had 70 or more yards in 4 of the last 5 games. He's had at least 50 in 6 of 8 games. So there's a floor there with some upside as well. You think about the matchup with Miami, as you mentioned, and the Dolphins have struggled in the secondary. To your point, they are 17th against the pass over the last 4 weeks. We saw Darnell Mooney have a good game against them last week. Cole Kmet get into the end zone a couple of times. So you think
that
about
smile from DPJ.
He's happy to be here.
Another
He's
man who looked
come
great.
Pick me up.
Look great in a robe.
Yeah,
DPJ.
exactly.
Yeah.
Look how nice I am. Look at how much I can help your fantasy team. Look at these stats. Donovan Peoples-Jones.
The thing is, he doesn't need that many targets to produce because of what he can do with the deep ball.
He's such a deep threat,
and he has been producing lately. Let's talk about Terrace Marshall Jr., who plays Atlanta on Thursday night. He's been the big beneficiary of the much maligned Robbie Anderson. It's not going great for Robbie Anderson at the moment, let me tell you. Well, key penalties against the Seahawks. It's just not happening for Robbie.
It's been a rough go of it for the last couple of years here for Robbie Anderson. But Terrace Marshall, who was drafted high by the Carolina Panthers and sort of stuck in it seemed like the doghouse, the Panther house, the cat house.
But now he's kept pounding, and now he's out.
And now he's out. And over the last 2 weeks, he's averaging 13.5 fantasy points per game. Since Robbie Anderson left, to your point, Jay, he's playing on 90% of the snaps. And you like this matchup on Thursday with the Atlanta Falcons, as Atlanta has allowed the most yards to opposing wide receivers over the last 4 weeks. Like, you can throw on Atlanta, and it does seem like there's a bit of a connection between him and P.J. Walker, who will get the start on Thursday. I believe, someone get in my ear and correct me if I'm wrong, Blake, but I'm pretty sure that Marshall caught the touchdown last week with Baker Mayfield under center. Baker came in the second half, and so I'm being told that is correct. So the fact of the matter is whoever's under center, they're looking for Marshall, who's out there on 90% of snaps and is the number 2 guy after DJ Moore in that passing offense. So yeah,
you know what,
top
Matthew?
20 wide receiver last week.
Yep, I think people are forgetting Terrace Marshall. If you get that joke, you get that?
I do.
Yeah, that took a while.
Right, exactly. You want to spoil that movie?
No.
That one too?
No, because it came out in the 21st century. It's safe.
It did.
It's wrapped in bubble.
It is.
Yeah.
I will say, if you enjoy male nudity, that is a movie for you.
Yeah.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Don't spoil it.
Right. Sorry. There's a moment. There's a moment there.
Yep.
It's actually a very funny movie.
It's a fantastic.
It's actually a really good movie. It's the best of Russell Brand, not the crazy Russell Brand.
Also a fantastic movie is Sunday Night Football every single week, and this week it's going to be Chargers against the Niners.
Yes.
Niners are 7-point favorites.
By the way, the Chargers, the Bolts, bolt up. The Bolts making multiple appearances on Sunday Night Football. It came out just before we went on the air today that the Chiefs-Chargers game in Week 11 has been flexed to Sunday night.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Very
so
good game when they met earlier in the
Herbert
season.
versus Mahomes,
Yep.
that'll be on Sunday night in Week 11. But this week it is the Chargers and the Niners, and DeAndre Carter is out there in, about 70% of Yahoo leagues, Jay Croucher.
Yeah, and particularly with the concerns around, we're not going to see Mike Williams. Don't think we're going to see Keenan Allen. Both didn't practice at all last week. Still, I don't think they've been declaratively ruled out, but certainly Williams' timeline was 2 to 5 weeks. We're very much at the skinny side of that. And then Keenan Allen, I just don't know what the hell's happening with Keenan Allen. And DeAndre Carter, he was close to having a moment against Atlanta. He didn't really have it, but still, 5 for 53, delivered an okay performance.
Yeah, 3 straight games with 5 or more targets. He went 5 for 53 on 6 targets last week again. Josh Palmer is still the guy you want there in terms of the passing offense, but with Gerald Everett being a little bit inconsistent, and we expect the Niners to focus a lot on Austin Eckler, DeAndre Carter for deeper leagues could be potentially viable against the Niners.
Okay, just quickly, Darius Slayton. Pretty favorable matchup against Houston, though Saquon Barkley might run it 35 times against that rushing defense. But any interest in Darius Slayton?
Yeah, a little bit. 11 or more fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games. He's had a 20% target share of that stretch. We've seen this before his rookie year. He was kind of a revelation. He had some nice moments in his rookie year. And so, look, I still have high hopes for Wan'Dale Robinson in this passing offense, but off the bye, give Brian Daboll credit. He has really turned this Giants offense around. And so I do think Slayton, who's a big play in a game against Houston, is a viable streamer this week in a deeper league, a 12-team, 3-wide receiver league.
Yep. Quickly, let's take a look at some injured wide receivers that you might want to stash. Headlined by...
Not guys that are going to help you now, but you could pick them up now, stash them as you hit the waiver wire. Odell Beckham Jr. obviously at the top of that. Could he go to the Cowboys? Jerry Jones is making the plea. He's thirsty for him. Could he go to the Bills or the Chiefs? Who knows there? Jahan Dotson. Jameson Williams, I think it's going to be a while before we see him, but he's an interesting guy. But Treylon Burks, people have forgotten about Treylon Burks, and, of course, Dotson from my Washington Commanders.
Okay, let's go to break, Matthew Berry. When we come back, we'll talk quarterbacks, and apparently Matthew Berry has a very patriotic message for us.
I do. By the way, if you need somebody to drop, Drake London.
Yes.
Make sure you drop him before Thursday night.
Drake London.
Like, they ain't throwing to him. It ain't his fault, but,
Arthur
sorry.
Smith.
Go American. Drop London. See what I did there?
Well, get out and vote.
Yes. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, Thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.